Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate the FTC's National Consumer Protection Week. And a thank you to all the organizations that are participating with us today. I'm Claire Rosenzweig, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau serving Metropolitan New York. And in just a minute, I'll announce our BBB's top 10 consumer complaint categories and scams from 2023. We have a webpage dedicated to this event, and it's full of information and resources, and we're dropping a link to that in the chat. Yesterday, the Better Business Bureau's Institute for Marketplace Trust issued its annual risk report, and it's based on all scam tracker data collected in 2023. Their evaluation of the total data revealed an interesting new top scam category: investing and cryptocurrency. This report is based on thousands of consumer reports put into BBB Scam Tracker. Scam Tracker helps consumers identify and avoid scams, and I'll share some details on that in just a moment. BBB also reports on millions of businesses, including over 150,000 just here in the Metro New York area. Those complaints give us a real good snapshot of consumers' satisfaction as well as dissatisfaction on a variety of industries. So now, our top 10 complaint categories for 2023 in Metro New York include financial services and insurance. For the third year in a row, this is number one, with over 12,000 complaints. Number two, health, beauty, and fitness. And this is the big story. When we reported on this category last year, it was number 5. Now it's number 2, with over 7,000 complaints. We saw an increase in complaints about weight loss businesses and products. Weight loss drugs are in high demand, and many companies just are not prepared to handle the volume. Consumers put their money down in good faith and too often are disappointed. Either they get what they weren't hoping for or they don't get anything at all. Sometimes they pay for things, never get them. Other times they fall victim to miracle claims on weight loss products and drugs. These claims obviously are not true, but we like to believe what we like to believe. They can lose money and they might put their health in danger due to the potentially harmful ingredients in phony products and weight loss drugs. Online retailers, that was number 3 with over 6,700 complaints. And you can read all about the top 10 complaint categories on our website for this event. And now on to scams. Scammers are always hoping to trap you by adapting to current events and technologies. And in Metro New York, the scam report differs somewhat from those reported internationally. Here are just 2 of the most reported scam categories. Number 1, online purchases. It topped our list with almost 2,000 scams and 2.2 million in losses. Internationally, this category draws the most scam reports. And number 2, employment. We noted over 900 scam reports and a total of over $692,000 in losses. Also, in the first months of 2024, we've seen a 60% increase in the number of employment scam reports. So we're going to be watching this very closely. So we invite you to visit BBB's National Consumer Protection Week webpage to see the complete top 10 lists, as well as resources and more. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Adam Hersh, Consumer Protection Attorney with the FTC.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you to the Better Business Bureau of Metro New York for hosting this important event. As Claire said, my name is Adam Hersh, and I am a consumer protection attorney in the Federal Trade Commission's Northeast Regional Office here in New York City. It's an honor to be here today to participate in National Consumer Protection Week. It has never been more important for consumers to understand the risks posed by frauds and scams and to be equipped with the tools to protect themselves. In 2023, there were 5.4 million reports of fraud to the FTC, with over $10 billion in reported losses, the highest on record. Scams involving impersonation were the #1 category of fraud reported to the FTC in 2023, responsible for almost $2.7 billion in reported losses to consumers. Today, I'm going to talk about one type of very troubling impersonation scam, government imposter scams. These are scams where a fraudster pretends to be from a state or federal government agency in order to trick consumers into handing over money or sensitive information. Although they take many forms, government imposter scams usually share a few characteristics. Government imposters contact you pretending to work for the government, most commonly for the Social Security Administration, for the IRS, for Medicare, or even for the Federal Trade Commission itself. They might use names of real government employees, and they might give you an employee ID number or a badge number to sound official. They may have information about you that's easy to obtain, like your name or home address. Scammers try to alarm you by saying that you're in some sort of trouble. They may say that you failed to pay your taxes, that somebody is using your name or personal information to commit crimes, that your Social Security number or healthcare is being suspended, or even that you've already been the victim of a fraud and that your money is at risk. These imposters may sound believable and sympathetic, but they will also try to rush you and make you think that only they can help you with the trouble that you are in, and that you must act immediately to prevent further harm. Eventually, they will say that the only way you can resolve the situation is by paying them money or by giving up sensitive information like your Social Security number or bank details. These scams can be very sophisticated, but there are a few things that consumers should remember to protect themselves. First, the government will never call or email you with threats or with promises of money. If somebody contacts you and threatens you with consequences unless you do what they say, they do not work for the government. They are trying to scam you. You can always slow down and take your time to verify that a call, email, or text is legitimate. Scammers' most powerful tool is a sense of urgency. It is okay to hang up the phone or ignore the message and contact the government agency directly through a verified website or phone number. The government is never going to ask you to pay money right then and there on the phone, and the government will never tell you to move or transfer your money to protect it. And the government will never ask you, never, to pay with cash, with gift cards, with cryptocurrency, or with a wire transfer. Finally, government agencies will not call or email you and ask you to provide your Social Security number or other sensitive personal or financial details over the phone or in an email. If you spot a government impersonation scam, please report it to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. If you gave your personal information to someone you believe may be a scammer, you can go to identitytheft.gov for steps you can take to protect your identity. And for additional information and tips, please visit the FTC's website at consumer.ftc.gov. Thank you. Let me now pass the microphone to Paula O'Brien-Solar, the Director of the Division of Consumer Protection at the New York State Department of State.
Good morning. Thank you, Adam. I am Paula O'Brien-Solar, the Director of the New York State Department of State Division of Consumer Protection. Today, in recognition of National Consumer Protection Week, the division is highlighting business imposter scams, which occur when a service provider or business misrepresents themselves and makes false statements about their qualifications, experience, or license. Today I'm highlighting examples of such scams within the beauty enhancement, also known as appearance enhancement industry. The industry includes professional barbers, cosmetologists, estheticians, and nail technicians. These professionals provide a wide array of personal services to consumers, and each requires a license to practice in New York State. A license to practice provides its holder with more than just the legal authority to operate or provide services. It also serves to protect consumers by requiring licensees meet specific education and practicum requirements and swear to uphold specific health and safety practices standards in their practice. So what do scams in this sector look like? They are individuals or entities misrepresenting their credentials and providing a beauty service without a license. They are licensed instructors who solicit students and offer certifications and claim that they can teach students. However, licensed instructors cannot provide instructions as a private tutor. Licensed instructors can only teach in New York State if they are affiliated with a licensed school. Any illegal class they provide will not open any doors of opportunities to their students. They will only take their money and leave them with a false credential that has no value in the professional marketplace. In addition, these scams present as salons that offer certificate programs that are not licensed to provide the programs. It's important for students to understand the difference between licensed and an unlicensed program. Students attending a licensed program receive many benefits and protections that cannot be provided to students who attend non-licensed schools. Sham beauty schools not only pose a risk to the wallets of the unknowing students they enlist, but they also threaten their health and safety. The beauty enhancement industry utilizes a myriad of chemicals that can be toxic if not handled properly. Thus, the Division of Consumer Protection encourages New Yorkers to avoid such scams by always looking for or asking to see an appearance enhancement New York Department of State licensing credential before the service begins. Avoiding beauty schools or certification programs that solely advertise on social media and require upfront in-cash only payments. And research the legitimacy and credentials of any career school or program before you enroll. Most notably, this includes going to the New York State Department of Education Career Training School's website to look up the school you are interested in enrolling. If it's not there, don't enroll because an unlicensed school will not be able to provide you with the credentials you need to qualify for licensure in New York State. I hope you found these tips helpful and thank you for your time today. And now we welcome Max Dubin, Special Counsel of the New York State Department of Financial Services.
Good morning, and thank you, Paula. I'm Max Dubin, Special Counsel at the New York State Department of Financial Services, known as DFS, and I'm proud to represent the department and Superintendent Adrian Harris at this important event. DFS regulates the activities of more than 3,000 banking, insurance, virtual currency, and other financial institutions with assets totaling nearly $10 trillion. As we recognize National Consumer Protection Week, I'd like to share how DFS is advancing our mission to build an equitable, transparent, and resilient financial system that benefits individuals while supporting businesses. Our Consumer Assistance Unit does the critical work of mediating consumer complaints against financial institutions and managing disputes over surprise medical bills. In fact, last year, the department resolved a record number of consumer complaints, and we returned $176 million to New Yorkers. The team at DFS is very proud of this work, and we're committed to aggressively fighting for consumers every day. I want to take a moment today to talk specifically about the work that we're doing to address the high cost of prescription drugs. Pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, have become key intermediaries in the prescription drug supply chain. They play a significant role in determining how much prescription drugs cost consumers and employers. In 2021, New York State enacted a comprehensive statutory regime for PBMs and gave DFS regulatory authority over those companies. This was done with the aim of lowering drug and health insurance costs, protecting New Yorkers accessing those drugs, and supporting small independent pharmacies in New York. Last month, the department released a proposed regulation to strengthen consumer protections and address anti-competitive conduct that adds costs to consumers and businesses. For example, we found that some PBMs prohibit community pharmacies from offering mail order and delivery services, restricting those services to their own affiliated pharmacies. Our regulation prohibits these exclusions, which will increase patients' access to home delivery from their community pharmacy. The regulation also increases transparency to consumers and employers by requiring PBMs to list formularies and pharmacy directories online and prohibiting PBMs from punishing a consumer who relies on that information. Simply put, this regulation seeks to make prescription drugs more affordable and accessible for all New Yorkers. You can learn more about this proposal on our website, dfs.ny.gov. There you can also file a complaint regarding your prescription drug coverage or any other financial services issue. Our team stands ready to provide you with assistance. The New York State Department of Financial Services is proud to celebrate this work during National Consumer Protection Week, and we will continue working to empower and protect New Yorkers every day. Thank you very much, and I'd like to now introduce our next speaker, Vilda Vera Mayuga, Commissioner of the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Max. Good morning, everyone. I am Vilda Vera Mayuga, Commissioner of the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. Thank you so much to the Better Business Bureau of Metropolitan New York for hosting us today as we mark National Consumer Protection Week. And of course, to all of our colleagues here with us for sharing our commitment to protecting consumers. Today, I am here to talk about protecting some of our city's youngest consumers. As a mother of 2 growing children, I know the dangers that addictive nicotine products pose to our kids, and I share the concerns communities have when an illegal smoke shop pops up in the neighborhood. And as the city's primary enforcement and licensing agency for tobacco and electronic cigarette retailers, I am proud to say that we have ramped up our enforcement against these unlicensed smoke shops. Here in New York City, stores need a tobacco retail dealer license to sell tobacco products like cigarettes and cigars, and an electronic cigarette retail dealer license to sell e-cigarette products. And we inspect all of them at least once a year to ensure compliance with the law. Now, we also routinely inspect unlicensed businesses, and under the law, we can seal or padlock and temporarily close down businesses that have sold tobacco or e-cigarettes without a license and routinely violate the law. We prioritize sealing retailers that owe the city the most in outstanding penalties for violating tobacco and electronic cigarette laws. And while DCWP does not have the authority to regulate cannabis sales, many of the illegal shops we padlock are also selling cannabis without a state license. So this is just one of the ways the Adams administration is getting creative in tackling the unlicensed cannabis market. Since we ramped up enforcement last spring, we have sealed more than 95 unlicensed tobacco and e-cigarette retailers around the city and collected more than $1.6 million in penalties that these retailers owed. A business can only reopen after we've sealed it if it agrees to pay all outstanding penalties and agrees to stop selling tobacco and e-cigarette products without a license. Across the entirety of our enforcement of both unlicensed and licensed tobacco and e-cigarette retailers, we have collected more than $18 million in penalties citywide since the start of the Adams administration. At DCWP, we strive to foster a culture of compliance with our city's laws, but we do not hesitate to take action against a business that is selling tobacco and e-cigarettes illegally in order to protect the health and safety of our neighbors, especially our youth. Thank you so much. And now I'll turn it over to Judy Weinstock, Assistant Regional Director at the New York Regional Office of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm glad to be part of today's important National Consumer Protection Week event. These remarks are provided in my official capacity as an Assistant Regional Director in the New York Regional Office of the SEC, but do not necessarily reflect the views of the Commission, the Commissioners, or other members of the staff. National Consumer Protection Week is a good time to warn consumers about the increase of investment frauds involving the use of artificial intelligence, or AI. Investors should know that bad actors are using the growing popularity and complexity of AI to lure victims into scams. AI-enabled technology is being used to scam investors by using deepfake video and audio. Fraudsters can use AI technology to clone voices, alter images, and even create fake videos to spread false or misleading information. AI technology might be used to impersonate a family member or friend with the intent to convince an investor to transfer money or securities out of an investment account. For example, some scam artists are using AI-generated audio, also known as deepfake audio, to try to lure older investors into thinking a grandchild is in financial distress and in need of money. Scammers might use deepfake videos to imitate the CEO of a company announcing false news in an attempt to manipulate the price of a stock, or might use AI technology to produce realistic-looking websites or marketing materials to promote fake investments or fraudulent schemes. In addition, we regularly see bad actors impersonating SEC staff and other government officials. There are 3 steps you can take to protect yourself. Verify that a communication from a federal or state agency or other regulatory body is genuine before responding. Be sure to independently search for contact information rather than clicking on links or calling numbers in the communication you receive. Fraudsters might also impersonate legitimate investment professionals, and many use phony personal websites to bolster their credibility. In the United States, verify that you are communicating with the actual investment professional and not an imposter by comparing the phone number or website for the firm as disclosed in the firm's Client Relationship Summary, Form CRS. Be on the lookout for scammers using AI technology to impersonate family or friends. AI-generated tools might be able to access personal information about you online or on social media, so be wary of any unsolicited communication asking you to invest your money, even if it sounds like it was written just for you. Fraudsters pretending to be friends or family members in distress seek to stir up your emotions. No matter how urgent the plea, especially when accompanied by directives such as "don't tell my parents, spouse, or roommates," take time to independently verify the situation before agreeing to transfer money or securities out of your investment account. Consider creating a password or phrase for family members to verify their identity in case of an emergency. Thank you for your time today. Next up, I'd like to introduce John Del Giudice, Assistant Inspector in Charge, New York Division, U.S. Postal Inspection Service.
Thanks, Judy, for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. So as one of the oldest federal law enforcement agencies, the Postal Inspection Service has witnessed the financial and emotional toll fraud takes on consumers. Young or old, a scammer sees only one thing, and that's your money. I'm sure you're all familiar with the phrase, "If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is." But so many people are fooled by a convincing pitch or the chance to win big through investments, lotteries, sweepstakes, or some other risky deal. Whatever the offer, it always ends the same. The victim gets scammed. This is why our focus continues to be on prevention. Knowing the warning signs of a scam is the first step to avoid becoming a victim. This year, for National Consumer Protection Week, the Postal Inspection Service is focusing our fraud prevention efforts on investment scams. Over the past year, there has been a 21% increase in reported losses to consumers over investment scams. This translates into over $4 billion in investors' money. Because of technology, scammers have more ways than ever to reach potential victims. If you receive a pitch by phone, mail, text, or email that promises you'll get rich quick, receive high returns with a low risk, or that urges you to invest now, watch out. These get-rich-quick schemes are a favorite of scammers. Whether they sell bogus securities or commodities, oil wells, or gold coins, these scammers will try to get you to invest all of your money. While older Americans are the prime targets for investment scammers, every consumer looking for a secure financial future is a potential target. Every year, thousands of victims lose between a few dollars to their life savings to scammers. And even the most experienced investors can be caught up in a good investment scam. Bernie Madoff comes to mind. While we arrest many scammers for their crimes, your money is usually never returned. So the best approach is not to become a victim in the first place. We want consumers to know there are things you can do to keep yourself and your loved ones safe from scammers, especially the ones with a guaranteed investment. In short, don't take the bait. Take your time deciding to invest. Don't rush into accepting high return, low risk offers. Remember, high reward means high risk. Get all the information about investment in writing before you make a decision, and talk it over with a trusted family member or friend. Check out the opportunity by calling the Better Business Bureau, State Attorney General's Office, or Consumer Protection agencies. Put your phone number on the National Do Not Call Registry at 1-888-382-1222 or at www.donotcall.gov. If you believe you are the victim of a scam, get help immediately by contacting your local police, and if the crime involves the U.S. mail, contact postal inspectors at 1-877-876-2455. Reporting scammers lets us know that a crime is being committed. For more information on this very important topic, go to www.uspis.gov. Thank you, and at this time I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Odily Bonilla, Public Affairs Specialist, Social Security Administration.
Good morning. Thank you, John, for that introduction. As John just mentioned, my name's Odily Bonilla. I'm a public affairs specialist in the New York region. Today, I'm going to talk to you about protecting yourself from scams and government imposters. You can find more information about protecting yourself from these types of scams at socialsecurity.gov. Knowing how to identify potential scammers will help safeguard your personal information. There are common themes scammers use. They pretend to be Social Security or other government employees, and they claim there's a problem with your Social Security number or that your benefits are at risk. They take advantage of fears by threatening legal action or even to arrest you. If you've ever been on the receiving end of those calls, they can be quite convincing. And it can be very easy to give in to their tactics. And at that moment, you can become a victim. So here are a few things you need to know to protect yourself. Social Security does not promise to increase the benefit amount in exchange for money. Social Security will never call you to tell you that your benefits will be immediately terminated because you did not pay us. We will never ask you to pay for your debt in cryptocurrency, gift cards, prepaid debit cards, or wire transfers. And most importantly, we will never threaten you with arrest or to take legal action against you because you do not agree to pay us immediately. Here are some tips that you can use in the future to protect yourself. Firstly, if you're on the receiving end of these calls, hang up immediately. Please do not engage in conversation. Secondly, if you happen to owe Social Security money, you can use pay.gov to make payments. Thirdly, stay informed by registering for your My Social Security account online at ssa.gov/myaccount. And finally, another great tool in your arsenal is ssa.gov/scam. This website gives you tips on identifying scams, protecting yourself from the scam, and reporting the scam all in one place. I hope this information was helpful, and remember, be diligent and staying informed is your best protection. And now I'll turn it over to Paulina Rodriguez, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, New York Field Office, IRS Criminal Investigation.
Thank you, Odily, for the introduction. Good morning, and thank you for hosting this important event during National Consumer Protection Awareness Week. Again, my name is Paulina Rodriguez. I'm an acting Assistant Special Agent in Charge for IRS Criminal Investigation, New York Field Office. IRS investigates all financial crimes and is the only federal law enforcement agency with the authority to investigate violations of the Internal Revenue Code. Last year, IRS-CI identified over $5.5 billion in tax fraud. CI recommended 665 tax investigations and 655 were sentenced. Our special agents at IRCI are the experts in following the money. CI wants taxpayers to protect their wallets and their personal information this and every filing season. We see a variety of scams every year that range from phishing attempts to return preparer fraud. Today, I want to talk about what consumers should consider when shopping for tax preparer. Then I'll touch on ways consumers can protect their identity. First, when choosing a tax preparer, do your research. Even when someone files on your behalf, you are responsible for your tax bill. So choose a tax preparer wisely. Do not use a ghost preparer or people who do not sign your tax returns when they prepare for you. Do not sign a blank tax return. It is the taxpayer who's ultimately responsible for what appears on a tax return. Know what you are filing and signing. Do not fall victim to tax preparer promises of large refunds. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure you receive your refund. Your refund should not be deposited into the bank account of your tax preparer. It should be deposited to yours. As we know that protecting our personal information is priority, yet scammers always find ways to get information and use it for their own personal gain. The IRS will not call you threatening legal actions if you do not give them certain personal information. If you receive a call like this, hang up, it's a scam. Phishing scams are still prevalent. If you receive unsolicited email, do not enter your personal information or click on links. Scammers have become much more sophisticated, and emails and texts may look legitimate. Fraudsters prey on U.S. taxpayers who may owe debt to the IRS. Be wary of advertisers who say they can settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar. If you have a debt to the IRS, reach out to the IRS directly to determine your options. Seniors should also be on the offensive. Criminals often target senior citizens through the use of predatory phone calls and emails, as well as phishing attempts. Protect yourself and report scams to law enforcement. You may email IRCI at New York Field Office at ci.irs.gov. I will now introduce Wilson Guzman, Associate State Director of Engagement at AARP. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina, and thank you for having me here today, everyone. I am Wilson Guzman, an Associate State Director at AARP New York. AARP is a nonpartisan, not-for-profit organization that empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP New York offers programs and tools that help New Yorkers ages 50 plus fight fraud and make the best decisions about their financial security. At AARP, we are constantly tracking the latest in fraud scams to stay one step ahead of the scammers. As you know, artificial intelligence technology has entered our lives in many ways, and bad players are all over it. But if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam, no matter what your age. We estimate that people 60 plus lose $28.3 billion a year to financial exploitation. That's $1 billion. We know criminals are finding new ways to impersonate loved ones. There will be a call and your grandchild will tell you that they're in a bind, maybe stranded at an airport in another country. Maybe they lost their wallet, so could you please send them some money? And the voice is so convincing that you are tricked. This is known as the grandparent scam, and it's been going on for years. Many people can't resist helping their grandchildren out, but now when it's a simulation of their actual voice, it's even harder. All crooks need is a few seconds from a TikTok video to grab the voice of a loved one. So it's logical to jump for scammers to use AI to replicate celebrities or politicians, images and voices to try to steal your money. Just recently, a very real sounding but very fake President Biden called voters before the New Hampshire primary. Because of that incident, the Federal Communications Commission earlier this year made it illegal to use AI voice and robocalling targeting consumers. Now state attorney generals can go after these fraudsters. Recently, Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, Oprah Winfrey, Gordon Ramsay, and even Kelly Clarkson, or their likenesses have been pirated in AI ads, selling everything from cookware to diet supplements. Scammers want to earn your trust. So using a beloved celebrity is one way that they do that, according to the Better Business Bureau. These deep fake scams can cost you a lot of money. One good rule of thumb, as many of us have said, is we like to use in almost any scam is that is if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. But even though the scammers continue to become more sophisticated, AARP and other organizations like the Better Business Bureau and the FBI are empowering the consumer. We want AARP members and everyone else to be vigilant. Before they make a purchase on social media, they should examine it. Are there blurry parts to the photo? If it's a video, do the lips sync to what is being said? And we urge our members to do business with trusted companies. They should check to see if the websites and the phone numbers on social media match up with companies' websites. Is the audio choppy? Is there a natural blinking? Understanding how AI works goes a long way. If you have questions or think you've been the target of a scam, contact the AARP Fraud Watch Network. We have free resources available at aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. Thank you for your time. And now back to Claire Rosenzweig.
Thank you, Wilson. And I want to take this moment to, number one, thank all of our participants today for joining us and for adding their expertise to this. I want to thank our team from BBB who has put this program together along with all of your teams. I want to thank those who are attending this presentation. You know, National Consumer Protection Week, it's all about helping consumers protect themselves. We want them, as Wilson said, to go to trusted businesses. BBB is a standards-based organization, and that's what we aim for our businesses to be, is trustworthy. And we want to provide the resources that all of our wonderful speakers today provided. All of this will be available on the special website that we developed for this program today. Also, for media who are on this call, you can arrange to have individual interviews by reaching out to any of the speakers today. That information will again be provided to you. With that, I just want to thank you all. We are very, very pleased to be able to continue having these programs in honor of National Consumer Protection Week, and to, again, thank all of our participating organizations today. So with that, thank you very much. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of National Consumer Protection Week.